Okay friends, welcome back, or welcome to my channel if you haven't been here before. This is Louisiana Cooking and Living, and I am finally going to do that little garden tour that I had promised. Behind me is, back here, is my fenced in area where I have my gardens and chickens. It is, I think, 50 by 50. And then over here in the other fenced in area is going to be a different area where we have some other things going on that we'll get to in a minute. All right, we'll turn you around and we'll go through the garden. Okay, so like I said, this area here that's fenced in is 50 by 50, and we have half of it divided for our chickens, and the other half is going to be the garden. And we will go through and talk about some things. First of all, we'll start with the chickens. We have 13 chickens. Started off with 15, lost 2 within the first day or so, and now we have the 13 here. They are 4 months old. They'll be 4 months old on June 1st, and no eggs yet. Hoping we'll get those soon. My husband did build this coop. We aren't quite finished painting it yet, but the girls are enjoying it, we're enjoying it, and I'm gonna turn the video around and we'll show you what kind of little contraption we have for their food and water. So these are my girls. A couple of them have names. We've had to start clipping their wings because they're kind of jumping on that fence that's in between the garden and the chickens. And they haven't tried to eat anything in the garden yet. They kind of get scared and want to know what's going on and how to get back into their fence. So we have this bucket waterer here. My husband saw a YouTube video where you just drill holes around the bottom and you turn your water upside down and it fills this little planter tray with water. It's a 5-gallon bucket. It lasts about a week. I do have apple cider vinegar in the water with that. I'm not really liking it. It doesn't stay very clean. I know they jump up on it just like that, but it's just not staying very clean. These are our 2 feeders here. I do need to refill them. So it's a gravity feeder. It's got a little inside piece. I'm not even sure all the technical terms about that. My husband built it. And these last about a week and a half before we refill it. Besides the pellet feed in there, I do have some basil, red pepper flakes, oregano, that kind of thing to help with the chickens. So that's our feeding and watering system for our girls. There are feathers everywhere before we started clipping their wings. We do have an automatic door here. I do work nights, and so when my husband's out of town, we can't always get out here to let them out in the morning or to lock them up at night. So, open this little side door here. I do need to clean out the coop. We are doing the deep litter method so that we can have some good compost in here, and I think it's almost time to go ahead and clean this out and put some all fresh bedding in here. So what we did was we put the nesting boxes access. There they are. I love listening to their little noises, talking to me. They start fussing at me when I leave them. We haven't had any predators. I kind of thought this whole area would get mowed down by them really quick, but it hasn't. We just let it grow and they eat. We do bring them treats out every day. We have kind of rotate. We have sprouted lentils. I'll sprout, takes 4 days. We do mealworms, different fruit, nuts, combos, any veggies scraps we have. They love bread and tortillas also. So they get treats every day also. So these are their nesting boxes here. This way we can access it. I haven't cleaned up from when I was out here today. Access it from the outside of the fence. But no eggs yet. Just getting ready. We hear like 5 to 6 month old. We should start getting eggs. Now this area, we do have a well on our property. We have about just under an acre and a half. And so this hose that's going across here is actually hooked up to our well water. So that's what we water our vegetables with. And I love it when the clover, or my husband cut in here recently, but when the clover takes over, it's really pretty. We have so many bees and pollinators in here, but there's some weeds that just, I don't know how to keep those out without killing the clover. So right now we're just kind of living with both of them until I figure out a way. If you know how to keep the clover growing and kill the rest of the weeds, I'd love to hear it, but for now, we're just dealing with it all. So our first bed here, we have corn, which we have a couple of ears growing in here. There's one there. Something got to my pinto beans. I have one little bitty one and this plant, which has got some pretty good flowers on it. I was horrible about labeling all my plants, so I'm just kind of guessing on what everything is at the moment. So I have 4 corn stalks in this bed, and then I have these purple hull peas. There's a big bunch of them right there. And then if I turn around, this bed has got sweet potatoes across on the bottom, and then some more corn. Now, this is our first garden, real garden. We've gardened before, but nothing to this extent. Again, this is some kind of squash plant. I don't know if it's zucchini or yellow squash. We'll see when it starts blooming, or when it's blooming, but when it starts giving us fruit. Anyways, this is a big learning process. We'll see what we are liking, what we need to plant more of, what we need to plant less of. This is my broccoli. Pretty sad, these plants got really big and then didn't produce anything. Obviously something's been eaten on it, and I needed to go ahead and dig it up, but I just haven't gotten to that yet. My zucchini over here is doing really well. We've already harvested a couple of them, and got a couple more down here that are almost ready. So over here, again, the Brussels sprouts, it's gotten too hot here for any of this to do anything. I'm gonna have to pull those up too. I do have some green onions over here, and then some Brussels sprouts, or broccoli in the middle. That's one crazy tomato plant that a friend at work gave me, and some more just onion plants. Okay, over here, I think it might be too hot for my celery to really do anything. These are celery right here. And then these are carrots. Again, it's getting to be too hot for those. Super excited about my tomatillos. I have purple tomatillos planted. Have one here and then one here. And then I've planted some in the middle also. They're very tiny. Let's see if we can get those right in there. This morning I planted out some peppers. We had a very late frost here, and I lost all my tomatoes, all my tomatillos, all my peppers, and I've had to start over again. So I just now am putting my pepper starts out that I had restarted. I ended up buying some tomato starts. So these bigger tomato plants are Creole tomatoes, and they have tomatoes on them. When all mine froze, I went on and bought those starts, and then these are the ones I restarted. They're a little smaller in here. I'm gonna have some basil growing, and then I decided to put in the middle of my tomato plants these big sunflowers. Oh, look, there's one of the girls up on the fence again. The darker ones, I'm not sure all the breeds. I have them written down, but I don't know which, because none of them look alike. But those darker ones are hard to catch, and to clip their wings is going to be a chore. Anyway, so I had these giant sunflowers to grow up in the middle of the tomatoes. Thought those would be really pretty, and then in the end of the season, the girls can eat the sunflowers. Again, more tomato plants my husband's aunt gave me some marigold seeds. So I got my marigolds planted around my tomatoes. I kind of thought that at first when I heard about that marigolds deter pests, but actually they're sacrificial plants is what I've learned recently. And the pests eat the marigolds instead of your tomatoes. So these are some Roma tomatoes here. Again, some more big sunflower plants. Romas are pretty productive. More marigolds. And these are some tomatoes I started later. So here our frost date was, I think April 13th is what it was, our last frost date, and we planted them like that day. I was so excited about getting this garden going, and so I planted right away and ended up losing everything. Everybody around here says to wait till after Good Friday, and so next year I think we'll do that. So this bed is all peppers. And again, my not labeling, I have no idea. I know there's bell peppers. I know there's cayenne or Tabasco. There's jalapenos and there's serranos. But which plants are which, I have no idea. And then in this little Dollar Tree planter here, I've got strawberries. Like there's one little strawberry here. I've plucked a few and they are super sweet. So I have strawberries and some flowers. There's my girls. They're so sweet. Oh, there's some basil I had picked earlier. I'm just gonna feed it to the girls. This is some more pepper plants that I planted over here. And look at these cucumbers. We picked one last night. I need to get out here and pick some more. But I have quite a few cucumbers in here, and one lonely squash. This little Dollar Tree planter has some herbs growing in it. I find the herbs take forever to grow. And then right here on the very end, I have planted, it's called some ground cherries. You can see, like right here and here. They're in the tomatillo family, but they're supposed to be like a little sweet, kind of like the cherry. For snacking. We'll see what those do. Over here I have some onions interspersed in here and some watermelons. And then again, some kind of squash plant. I thought I planted some cantaloupe somewhere, not quite sure. If you recognize any plant of mine that looks like a cantaloupe, I would love for you to tell me what you saw that was a cantaloupe. These are my watermelons. I planted this variety last year and it's called a strawberry watermelon, and they're really good. And I do have one little watermelon right there. So that's super exciting. Oh look, there's another one. We have lots of pollinators out here with all this clover. We have lots of bees, and I find wasps, and I was kind of worried about the wasps, but somebody told me that they eat the pests on your plants, and they don't bother me, so I'll leave them. All right, we're gonna turn back around over here by the fence. We have these 5 grow bags where I've planted regular potatoes. I have red potatoes and white potatoes. Honestly, I had no idea potato plants flowered, and I'm not quite sure when to even harvest my potatoes. I think you're supposed to wait until the plants die down. But again, this is all new to us, and we are just figuring it all out. So I'm so glad you're here to give me tips and suggestions and your information and advice that you have, because I am not quite sure what's going on. All right, we're gonna go out the fence and we're gonna go to the backyard area, and I'll show you what's going on back there. All right, so now we're directly behind our chicken garden area, and right, let me see if I can get my finger right here, and then all the way back here between the crepe myrtles are 2 pecan trees we planted. We plan on taking these crepe myrtles down, but we went on and planted the pecan trees. It says it takes 3 to 5 years, I think, for us to get any fruit on that. We have some little bitty buds on them, and we did plant 1 pecan tree in the front yard also, so that's super exciting. And now we're gonna go in this fenced in area back here. So I'll take you along back there. Okay, I'm trying to get a lot of flowers incorporated. As you can see, this hibiscus here with that late freeze, it did not do well. We're trying to give it a chance, but it's just not doing well. I have some parsley planted here. I think it's getting sunburned. I'm gonna have to move it. But I've made some chimichurri sauce with that and it was excellent. Do have some more herbs planted, but again, I'm dumb and did not label them. That's a lesson I will learn for next year, but as soon as it comes up, I'll be able to figure out what that is. All right, and then as we walk back here, so the previous owners had these wonderful boxes along this fence that they have, I'm not sure, they had flowers or something in them. This one had some green onions here. They've had rosemary planted all over in here and around the flower beds. Well, I decided to plant garlic in these this past fall, and I had 60 garlic cloves planted in them. And my dog, the pointer, decided he needed to get all the lizards that were in them. And so he dug up all my garlic. So a couple weeks ago, I planted flowers, seeds, and he kept digging and ripped the front off of this box. And we just haven't had a chance to deal with that yet. Not quite sure. I tried to replant some of this garlic, if it's gonna make it or not. Again, trial and error, we'll see what happens. But my husband did put these panels over them to try and keep the dog out. And looks like maybe some of the flowers are coming up, but the garlic, few and far between here. So we have one little blueberry bush right here. We haven't seen any buds on it this year. And then this is a persimmon tree, I'm told, by the previous owner. And this one is a lot bigger, also a persimmon tree. Never had a persimmon fruit. If you know what a persimmon tastes like and can give us a little bit of advice on it, we hear that you have to wait till they almost look like they're rotten in order to eat them. So that's our 2 persimmon trees. We're hoping to get a lot of berries planted back here. I'm gonna turn you around just one second. All right, so we have this big old area over here that's really not being used for anything, and we'd like to eventually move this fence back and enclose more of the yard that's not being used and plant fruit trees back in this area. But we have been very blessed with this house. God has really blessed us. We have this pool area, and then the previous owners put this kitchen in. My son's drinking some water back here. Just come out and sit and enjoy the pool. The dogs love running around back here. Okay, so we've been very blessed with this property. There's a lot of learning for us to do. We are excited about everything that's going on. But of course, this is our first year and there's a big learning curve. What vegetables are gonna grow well, what I need to grow more of. I already know I need more tomato plants and pepper plants and different things like that for what I want to take care of. The corn, as much as I wanna grow it, I don't know if I have enough big enough area to grow enough corn for us to actually being worth taking up that much space in the garden. I hate to say that because I really wanna grow corn. So this is just a big learning curve for us this year, and we can't get it all done in 1 year. Of course, we wanted to try. I want to get meat birds. Not only do I want to have egg layers, I do want to have meat birds also. Probably do like a chicken tractor or something for that. Something else I wanted to mention, that my husband plans on making a chicken tunnel to go from the chicken area then around the garden, that hopefully that they kind of control pests that kind of get into the garden area. So that's an exciting little project that'll be fun for us to get done. I think the girls would like having a little area to run around in like that. And so if you have any suggestions of things we can do to make things more streamlined, I think I want to add a couple more of the beds in there. Love having the raised beds. It really controls weeds. We put cardboard in the bottom of all the beds to help control the weeds, and use, I think we used fish emulsion for our fertilizer back there. My husband took care of that part of it. And but we're super excited and really looking forward to what we can harvest from this, and what we can kind of expand in the future. I'd love to do the fruit trees and the berries, like I said. Just trying to do, be a little bit more self-sustainable. Oh, we want to get bees too. That would be exciting, a little adventure. It'll help us with our fruits and vegetables, and then they'll give us some honey in return. So we're looking forward to all that. And thanks for coming and watching today. And I ask that you just subscribe to my channel. It helps me out a lot. Share my video with friends that might be interested. And we'll see you back next week.